My name is Charles Bussey, and this with Cascade Media Group, and we have a program today. Cascade Media Group has been interested in talking to or connecting with St. Louis for its block voting and group economics possibilities. And so today I have the pleasure of having my brother, Charles Bussey Jr., who is out of St. Louis, uh, so that we can connect from the west side of Missouri to the east side of Missouri to St. Louis. But first, I want to say good morning, my brother, and I'm
Good morning,
saying
my
that
brother.
seriously. I
You're
mean,
right.
good day, my brother. So first, uh, I think you should know something about my brother. Uh, both of
Because
us were born in Little Rock, where we went to high school during the Central High crisis. We both attended Horace Mann High School, which was a segregated high school, all black, where we learned a lot, and it was good for us. We both attended a integrated college. He was the first black to attend Little Rock University, which was a segregated school, but he was the one that integrated. He was the one that first started employment in jobs where black people had not been previously employed at Safeway stores. He also went to the Army, and he then went to St. Louis. And he has been in St. Louis and has been an economic engineer, pioneer for years and years. I do want to say that our mother also attended the University of Arkansas, which is now uh, in Fayetteville, but the Little Rock University, which my brother integrated, is now the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. So times change, times bring back a change, and time brings back constant things. Our father, who did not go to college, did not go to high school, was a political giant who became the first black mayor of Little Rock and met with all sorts of other people and was with Bill Clinton uh, in his times. So I say all that to say, what did I miss, my brother? Talking about your
you
years
got it
of
all.
your
You
years
covered you
of
covered the waterfront.
Okay, then I got everything. And he's a businessman now. And by the way, let's also add in he's a TV star that he's appeared on Sweetie Pies, if you ever saw that on TV. And that was a restaurant with the backup singer of Tina Turner. So, my brother, let's talk about what did we learn? What did we learn from your experience? Do you believe that Jim Claiborne's book that says that we are making a circle, that we're basically coming back to the way things were when we were in high school, that the schools are now becoming segregated again, uh, that this is just like Reconstruction. They will keep going until we're actually, as African Americans, free on our own to make decisions on our own without asking anybody else. What do you think?
I think he's absolutely right. I don't think it ever changed. Actually, I think what happened was, I was down in Jackson, Mississippi a few weeks ago, and I was looking at all of the academies down there that were segregated. From 1954, they created these schools that were private schools with not-for-profits that actually have became, the education pillar for the white community. They abandoned the public school system, and as a consequence, they started to pull money out of the public education system. So yeah, I don't think it's ever changed. I don't think it's ever changed. They pretended to change a little bit for a little while, but basically nothing has changed.
And do you think we're in a position to demand change? Do we have representatives? Do we have people that still continue to live in our community? Because I say this, because there's no real Black community now. I mean, the people are moving to the white community. They're moving in other areas, and they have cut up the Black community so they can cut out the Black vote, which we used to have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that's because one, segregation forced the doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, pastors, and the Black community all live in the same community. So you had a community of interest. Once we had integration, or that's probably not the right word, but we started to dilute the impact of the Black community for those people that have a few dollars more than the rest of the community had a chance to abandon it. And, though they made these individual decisions to leave the Black community.
So when we were coming up, across the streets was a doctor, down the streets was a lawyer, up the streets was a dentist.
The pastor.
The pastor was right up at the corner.
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody was in the same community. And therefore you had a sense of collective interest. Yeah. Even though there was some diverse interest in the Black community as there is now, but because you were in the same geographic area, you had a tendency to, what I want to say, accumulate your interest in a way that there was a collective kind of consensus about what the Black community needed. So
we could go outside and go next door, talk to the people, say what we're going to do. Let's get together. Let's do this. We didn't have to have a homeowners association. I'm sorry, that's personal. We didn't have to have a homeowners association to tell us to come and meet and work together.
Yeah. And I think that's really what happened to, our father, is that because he represented a collective interest, and he presented one voice that could speak to the white power structure that basically got them to understand what the Black community was interested in. Now, was it perfect? No. Was it 100% of what you wanted? But, he achieved a lot by being that voice.
They had to listen to him.
Yeah.
Because we had to block voting, because if they didn't listen to him, they wouldn't get elected.
Exactly.
Because that's one of the things that, and I say this, that Maya Angelou talked about in her book when she talked about our father, that he was able to have people actually come to him rather than him going to them. And so, like, we have politicians now, we have elected representatives, they ain't got to listen to them. Yeah. They don't have to. They can go to the Black people and say, I get a fraction, or practice Reagan's philosophy. We only need some of them. We don't need all of them.
Right.
Yeah. And so
I remember seeing people come to the house, and we didn't live in no spectacular house. No. I remember seeing white folks come to the house to talk to him all the time.
Yes, because they needed it. And so now that we have identified the problem, is there a solution?
If there is, you got it.
I don't have it. I think that one solution is that for Black voting, it is important that we recognize the change that did occurred as a result of us being together, us living together, going to the same schools together, and having our own priority and in getting our kids educated.
Yep.
I don't know whether the new generation that's coming up is recognizing the slaughter that's coming on.
Yep.
And we cannot stop this slaughter unless the kids get involved. And we would stop just a minute by the producer to be given advice as to how to proceed. We certainly acknowledge and accept his intellect, but he wants us to say and indicate to you that one of the solutions is to start listening to Cascade Media, which is what we're on. that we at least want to invite you to communicate with us. And since we're talking about possible solutions, that you may be able to provide us those things. So now I think I can proceed and in my talking and say what I believe that the solution and that this generation can start, because I'm concerned about the Congress is now getting ready to stop funding for public education. And I don't know whether our politicians are actually stopping them from passing that bill in Congress that says that they do not have to support public education. That, as you were indicating, my brother, that private education is now coming to fore.
Right.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, absolutely. What I was trying to point out is that when we were segregated, there was the ability to have great communication. And that continuous communication, whether it was in school, at church, in the neighborhood, walking down the streets, had a tendency to create a collective mindset. So one of the solutions that we're talking about is finding a way to communicate again, even though we are physically separated, so that we can achieve that same collective mindset again. So you have to have a form of where you can share that information and thoughts and get a common direction. And the only way to do it is be able to communicate.
And I think, and I think our producer is correct that one way to start is communicating with each other by way of media. And if we can do that, then we can
media
start coming.
Control. That Black people control.
That's absolutely correct. And so that we can start finding solutions. We can start having people that live in our community actually represent that community and be able to stand up for that community and make people listen. We still are talking about solutions and what we need to do in terms of communication, and we are advising you that Cascade Media Group is one form of communication or one space of communication that is available to you. I was just talking to my brother about the fact that Congress is not funding public education, which is the only available education for minority groups, and they're finna take it away, and nobody's knowledgeable about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. But certainly we need to have some alternative or some space for knowledge being placed in our community, because knowledge obviously is power, and we can only get that through communication. And what do you suggest to that?
Well, I mean, finding different sources of communication, like Black media, whether it be newspapers, radio, TV, digital communications. One of the things that you mentioned about Congress, they're trying to basically defund NPR. NPR has basically been one of those institutions that's basically given a balanced view of what's going on in the world. And now the Congress that we have is trying to defund that. So every place that there's a point that they can stop the communication, they're doing it.
Yeah, and that's National Public Radio.
Yeah, National Public Radio.
And so then what is it possible then that we can start? We don't want to lose education. We can start possibly moving together and trying to love each other. Nobody wants to live in the Black community because they say it's crime. Crime is in there, so let's move over somewhere else. Same kind of crime occurs. So, right. But they living with it, where I guess the police may respond faster or whatever. But we need to start helping each other, working with each other, and giving messages to our children so they can come together and save us, because Reconstruction is coming.
Yes, it's already here. The other thing I would suggest is this, is that when you find, rather than get exasperated and defeated when you see something is not going right is to find those people that are going in the same direction you're going in and join them, as opposed to being frustrated and saying, woe is me. Find the people that are really doing the work and work with them, whether it be media, whether it be church, whether it be school, and just keep moving in the direction that you're going in. You have a mindset to go in.
Yeah. And we are inviting people from Kansas City and St. Louis.
Absolutely.
To contact us. Let us know what you're thinking. Give us knowledge, give us history, and we're willing to communicate this and let everybody know so we can come together on the same mindset. And we can also contact the people that are politicians, the people that are supposed to be representing us and doing the things that we need done. That's why we need the good people. We need young people. We need all people that are concerned about our community involved with this.
Absolutely. You know, one of the problems that you see in the media is that the media has been bifurcated or trifurcated, and we now have media silos. So people are listening to the same stations, the same kind of similar thought, because the media, we used to have ABC, NBC, and CBS, 3 stations, and you got a myriad of views on those 3 stations. Well, now we have cut up the media communication into 15 or 20 different sources, and people just listen to those same sources all day long. They don't even change channels to see another side. So they keep getting reinforced, and we don't have, the Black people don't have any silo where we can be reinforced.
And there are thousands of stations, and there's no community groups putting out documents or anything, or having meetings to inform the public. I guess they really don't care, but we're trying to encourage them to care, because that's why we as brothers are trying to say, come together and let's save our community. And we'll be advising you of this every other week until we get your attention, get your communication. And we're asking you to come in and listen to us and help us save our community. All
Absolutely.
Right. All right.
I'm joining you.
Huh?
I'm joining you.
Amen.
I'm following you.
Then we'll be brothers together forever.
Thank
you so very much. And I've enjoyed this with my brother. All right, we're signing off now. And hope to see you again and hope to talk to you. And thank you for listening.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.